Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another review of the December 30th trade I placed yesterday. Right now it's the 31st. Market is about to open, and that's actually why I also want to start this review with. So not actually with the trade that I placed yesterday, but also what you can expect for today and the way I actually look at trading. So currently, when I look at what my algorithm is giving me, is that it says that the new day opening gap, the new week opening gap, all the biases are currently bullish. And currently, we are looking at a premium gap. So, because we're looking at the premium gap, your first intuition would be, okay, we're looking for shorts. But because the higher time frames, the higher time frame algorithms are telling me that I'm looking for buys actually, I will not be looking at the first presentation being created today as a trade, but actually from a first presentation of an earlier day, which is actually this one of yesterday that's below the opening range gap that will be created right now. Why? Because this one is in a discount and we want to buy in discounts and sell in premiums. So that's actually something very interesting when you do your analysis. Look where you are currently at in price. Are you in a heavy discount, heavy premium, and do you want to sell or buy based on the higher time frame? So if you've got any questions in regards to how that works, feel free to leave a comment in the description or in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have about that. So normally I will only go over MNQ on the trades that I took, but today I will actually start with NQ. And normally I only trade NQ on my funded accounts. Not normally, I always trade NQ on my funded accounts. And I actually want to show you how you can turn a loss into a win when you trade. And you will see why. Okay, so yesterday when we go into the bar replay mode, yes, bar replay, because otherwise I cannot show it to you what I actually did. I will actually show my live executions as well eventually. But yesterday we had a huge opening range gap. We had 315 handles of a discount gap. And in confluences with the higher time frame analysis, our algorithms telling us to be bullish, will be looking for longs this day. And we have our first presentation created here, but we never close above it. We actually go to the first new week opening gap of this month, as you can see eventually. And when this happens, you just have to be patient. If there's not a trade on your first presentation, don't rush it. Just wait and see what price does. Because eventually, we go up, we go up, we go up. There we go. And there is a moment in time where we close above the first opening range gap, and then it will act as an inversion gap if you follow the 2024 mentorship. And I took this trade on my two funded accounts, and it turned out to be a loss, as you can see. Actually, within 2 minutes, I was stopped out, and well, that sucks, you know, because you lose, but it is what it is. And the same trade that I took on my funded accounts, I did on my real life AMP account over here. As you can see, I entered with 7 contracts, and I will show the live executions after we have concluded this first review on the algorithm, on my strategy, on where I actually executed and how I took profit, etc. So yesterday, the first trade that I did, I had a loss on my funded accounts, and on my funded accounts I'm only allowed to trade once due to the rules that TopStat has and just overall risk management for that. On my live account and AMP account, I'm actually allowed to trade twice. So when I took this trade, I was actually down $528. And I was like, oh no, is this going to be a day like this? But I was like, okay, sure, maybe we get another attempt and we can actually make a profit out of today. So eventually price came back up above the first presentation again. There we go, we closed above, and it should act as an inversion fair value gap. So I entered with 6 contracts instead of 7. Why? Because of this loss, I didn't have the equity to re-enter with 7 contracts. I had to enter with 6 contracts. And there were several points of the opening range gap that I took as my profit points. You can see them over here. One good note to have is that when you have a very huge opening range gap, so for example, this one was 316 handles, I myself, when a gap is larger than 200 handles, I halve the exit points of where I originally would take profit. So normally I would take profit at 25%, midpoint 75, full closure 125%, and I have a runner. When there's a huge gap that's greater than 200 handles, I actually will take my profits at 12.5%, 25%, 38.5%, midpoint, and what's in between here. You can see it, everything gets scaled down, and then a runner will be left on. So the first trade I had a loss of minus 528. We re-entered, and we can see that we can always trust the higher time frame bias, because we immediately leave and very quickly we will move to our first profit to break even. So we had our first take profit at 12.5% of the opening range gap. Very nice. We are still not out of drawdown, because right now we are only up, I think it was $200 or something like that. And I will actually get out of drawdown when the 75% or the 38.5% in this case gets hit. But that's okay. We currently have a small profit. We halved the loss that we already had, and we are right now at break even. So if we follow price, what we see is that it bounces from this new day opening gap to this one, but it doesn't really go below the new day opening gap of the 19th. We never close below it, and we actually attempt, you see the price is trying to push higher, and that we actually have our second take profit over there. And if we just let price do its thing, we have our third take profit, and eventually also our fourth. And then if we let price run, we will just barcode a little bit, and eventually around the end day we hit our break-even stop loss with the 2 remaining contracts that we had here. So our exit 125 and our exit runner get hit on break-even. So I actually, if I followed my algorithm to the T, like to perfection, and only used those exits, then I would have been in profit of around, I think, $800. As you can see, we went from 15,500 to 16,469. I myself, during trading, I wasn't able to be here entirely. So when we hide the algorithm, the strategy, I will now show my real executions that I did. So you can see the first execution here, buy of 7 contracts, we got stopped out. Our second attempt, we buy 6, we sell 1 here, sell 1 there. And the last 2 exit points, I actually sold 2 contracts on those 2 because I actually had to spend time with my girlfriend. So instead of letting those 2 run, as you can see, as you saw before, I actually had a way better exit point eventually, if you can see what price has done over time. So instead of having $800 in profit that day, I actually had 1,120 something. I actually made a post on X about that. So yeah, that were my trades from yesterday. I hope that you learned something from this video in regards to the higher time frame. Also to today, when we have a day that we actually start in a premium gap, a discount gap when we are looking for bullish action. So right now I will hopefully if price closes below here, we will actually be able to be looking at a other buy, because we are buying from a deep discount, and we will see what price does. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and then I will talk to you guys next time. And as always, have a great new year. I hope don't do anything stupid with firework, and I'll talk to you guys next year.